I made my first $1,000 or pounds because I'm British as a content creator literally months after I uploaded my first YouTube video. If you want to hear how I did it, then stick with me because in today's video, I'm going to be telling you the exact steps you should follow to make $1,000 per month as a creator. Before we get to it though, I wanted to let you know that this video is very kindly sponsored by Uscreen, and also I upload content like this every single week. So if you want to see more from me, which I hope you do, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Let's get to it. Okay, so the first 3 steps are kind of grouped together, but I'm going to split them out because they each require their own set of activities. So the first is building know, the second is like, and the third is trust with your audience. If you're listening to that and thinking, what is this girl talking about? Just don't worry. Okay, we're gonna get into it. So step number 1 is building know with your audience. What that basically means is you need your audience to know who you are. That is like it in a nutshell. They need to know who you are. They should know what you stand for. They should know what your niche is. They should know who you are as a creator. So this is the most important step, hence why it's first. Always do the most important step first, guys. Just a quick hack from me, life hack from Jade. So this is the most important step because at the end of the day, regardless of how you intend to make that $1,000, and more on that later, you will need to ensure that you have an audience of people who know you in order for you to make that money. This is imperative. Okay, so how are we going to reach our audience and ensure that they know who we are? Well, that is where social media comes in. I'm going to assume that you're familiar with social media because this video title had the word content creator in it. So usually content creators are familiar with social media, right? Social media is obviously a free tool that we can all use to reach quite literally billions of people. There is a hair in my eye. It's gone. To quite literally reach billions of people, right? The trick is though, we need to know how to use social media effectively. There are multiple different channels that you can be across, for example, YouTube, the one that I'm on, Instagram and TikTok. There are also other channels like Pinterest as well, which can often get people high results. Now, regardless of the channel that you're on, there are a few key things that you could be doing, which will help you nail this step of getting an audience who know you onto your social channel. The first is a little bit old school, but it has a new school twist on it. And that is to focus on shareability when you're creating your content. Now, the old school hack here is that back in like 2021, everyone was talking about shareable content, creating like quotes on Instagram so that people can share them to your stories. Remember when that was like a huge thing with those loads of quote pages? That's evolved a bit now, and now it's not just about creating content that other people want to share, and now it's also about creating content that other people might want to remix or stitch together. Now, I've just used 2 terms that are from Instagram, TikTok, which basically describes when someone takes a short form video like a reel or a TikTok or a YouTube short, and they cut it with their own content and give their own spin or point of view on it. Now, this is the new form twist on it, right? This is the newer form of shareable content. The basics remain though. You want to be creating content that is topical and that people will want to either remix, engage with, or share. Now, the biggest thing to remember when you're thinking about how do I create shareable content for my audience is that you want to be specific with who your audience are. So what I don't want you to do is think, oh, but everyone will love my content, because news flash, everyone won't. They're just not. Doesn't matter how great your content is, everyone will not like it. That is just the way the world works. So instead of us trying to appeal to everyone and therefore not really appealing to anyone, let's zone in on the people who we know will get value from our content and who will like our content, because those are the people we are trying to build the know with. Right? There's also another tactic that you can use when you're trying to ensure that your audience know who you are. And that tactic is to lean into short form content. Now, this exists on every platform, but if we focus on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, because I know those are the most common platforms that you guys are on, TikTok is inherently short form content. On Instagram, the short form content is called Reels, and on YouTube, the short form content is called Shorts, right? Super easy. Now, when you lean into that style of content, you actually massively increase the chances of you reaching your desired audience. And the reason why is because across every platform, they are all on this short form hype. And that means that every platform is actively pushing short form content. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of it. You are more likely to reach more people with a short form video than you are with a photo or a carousel or anything like that, specifically on Instagram. So if you're trying to focus on the know element, why not dial up the amount of reels that you are sharing? It is worth saying, some breaking news here, that the head of Instagram, Adam Mazzari, did recently say that they will be changing the algorithm ever so slightly so that photos are getting as much attention as short form videos such as Reels are. Now, I've not seen any huge changes in regards to that yet, but it's something to keep in mind. So I'm not saying get rid of photos completely. I'm just saying if you don't already share some Reels, try and add that to your content mix because that's going to help you reach more people. Now, before I move on to the next step, something you've got to know about step one, which is about ensuring your audience know who you are, is that you need to make it very easy for your audience to understand who you are, what you talk about, and what your key values are. Make that super clear. And on most platforms, you can make that clear by having a really clear bio or a YouTube banner or anything like that. You can also make that clear by ensuring the content you share is all aligned with who you are as a person and what you want to talk about. This is important because we want our audience to know us for something. Now, you might be thinking, is Jade just trying to tell us to niche down without telling me to niche down? No, I'm not. You don't have to have a niche in order for you to do this properly. You do have to be known for something in particular though. So maybe it's the style of content you create, maybe it's your sense of humor, maybe it's your values, maybe it's your sense of style. There should be something that you want to dial up when it comes to you and who you are as a person, and you want that to be evident in all of your content, because when that happens, people know you for one particular thing, and when we move on to the monetization element, when we start earning money, that is going to be the thing that's going to make it a lot easier for you to earn money as a creator. So step number 2 is to focus on the like section of know, like, and trust. So you might be thinking, what does that mean, right? What I'm referring to here is how do we ensure that your audience actually like the content that you're creating and engage with the content that you're creating? Because we've now got a bunch of people to know who we are, amazing, but that's not enough. We need a lot of those people to also engage with the content that we put out. Now, I like to encourage people to think about their audience as being on 2 different levels. So at the top, we've got the shallow level. So this is your audience who just found out who you were. So now they know you and they kind of just stay at that level, right? So they find a reel that you like or a short or a TikTok. They subscribe or they follow to your social media channel and then they kind of stay there. So they don't really engage with you. They know who you are kind of, but that's kind of it. They just stay at this shallow level. Now, there's nothing wrong with having people at that shallow level. Like I've got loads of people in my audience who are at that shallow level. But if all of your audience are there and you've not moved anyone down to the deeper level, that is when we've got a bit of a problem. Now, the deeper level in this lovely analogy, I'm literally picturing an ocean as I describe this. The deeper level are full of people who like you. Not only did they discover your content and subscribe or follow to your channel, but then they actually started to regularly look at your content and engage with it and speak to you in the comment section and in your DMs. These are at the deeper level of your audience, and I like to refer to these people as advocates. Now, advocates are imperative to the success of your channel, for one, because they're the people who drive engagement. The more engagement you get, the more followers you're going to get, because the algorithms will push your content out to even more people. So that's one reason why they're important. But another reason why your advocates are important is because your advocates are going to be the people who become your guiding light when we start earning money from your social media channels as a content creator. It's your advocates who will buy from you. It's your advocates who will support a brand that you're working with. Your advocates are the life and soul of your social media channel, but we often get very distracted by the shallow audience because we only really care about the numbers. We just want thousands and thousands of followers or subscribers, and we forget to actually ask ourselves, well, where do those subscribers even sit? Like, do they actually like me, or do they just know me? Because knowing's not enough. Okay, now the best and most effective tactic I can give you when it comes to how you actually pull people down into the ocean to the deep side. God, that doesn't sound like a nice thing to do, doesn't it? It doesn't sound like a nice thing to do, but just run with this analogy with me, please. So let's say we've got some people paddling on the shallow end and we're just gonna pull them to the depths of the ocean, which is my worst nightmare. How are we gonna do that? Well, the most effective tactic is to open a dialogue with your audience. Do not just share content with them and just leave it at that and don't even try to speak to them about it. Open a dialogue. What that means is asking questions in your captions. It means going live and speaking to your audience in real time. It means responding to DMs when you can. It means quite literally speaking to people. These are humans. This is social media. Get social and speak to your audience. Don't just leave them there so they could just be fans of you and your content. Because I hate to break it to you, unless you are Beyonce, it usually is very difficult for you to convert that audience later down the line when you haven't built any form of a bond with them. Okay, so before we move on to the third step, I just wanted to take a quick break to talk to you about Uscreen, who are the sponsor of today's video. Now, the reason why I wanted to break up this video to talk about Uscreen is because obviously we're talking about monetization monetization in this video. We are talking about how you can earn thousands of dollars as a content creator. And one of the best tools that you can use to be able to do this is Uscreen. Now, Uscreen is a video monetization platform which basically empowers creators and entrepreneurs to monetize their content by creating this Netflix style membership site. So I'm going to put some examples of some existing Uscreen membership sites on the screen, even though I'm sure by me describing it as a Netflix style site, you can probably already imagine what it's going to look like, right? So Uscreen is an all-in-one video membership program. It's super easy to use and it's applicable for all forms of content creators. So whether you're a small creator, a bigger creator, whether your niche is all about personal finance or about pottery, it doesn't matter. Uscreen could be an amazing tool for you to use to monetize your video content. So here are some of my favorite features with Uscreen that I think you're going to absolutely love. First of all, it's super easy to use. You can actually choose from a suite of templates to build your own video membership site. Everything you need is in one place, all the way from analytics through to billing, which is basically how you actually earn and collect money from your audience. Uscreen also provide onboarding, training, and marketing support, and they've got a full-fledged customer service team that can help you whenever you're experiencing any issues. I cannot tell you how useful that is. After being in business for 2 years, I basically don't work with people unless they can offer me some level of support. I don't know if that just makes me sound like I'm hopeless, but I just need to know that if I've got a question, I need to know that someone's there who can answer it for me, right? And Uscreen do provide that. Now, one of my absolute favorite things about Uscreen is that you're actually able to create an app for your video membership site. So you can actually create and offer an app to your audience which will contain all of your incredible video content that people will pay to access. Like, how insane is that? So I really felt like Uscreen was the perfect partner for this video. Not only is their product amazing and gives you so many incredible features, but also it allows you to create a reoccurring revenue stream, which is so important when you are trying to earn money as a content creator, because other income streams can often be inconsistent. When you do something like create a video membership site, you're actually able to unlock reoccurring revenue, which means you can actually predict the amount of money that you're going to earn on a monthly basis. And for anyone who likes a bit of stability in their life, which I'm willing to bet is most people, you can totally see the value in that. So if you're interested in Uscreen, head to uscreen.tv. I'll also include a link in my description below. Okay, so step number 3 is all about trust. So you'll recall step 1, we ensured that your audience knew who you were. Step 2, we ensured that they liked your content and they engaged with you. And step 3 is all about building trust with your audience so that they actually trust you enough to either purchase something from you or to trust your recommendations if you work with brands. There are 3 surefire ways that you can build trust with your audience. The first is to consistently provide value through the content that you share. Now, I always like to say that there's a few different types of value. There's educational value, like the value that I'm sharing with you right now. Hopefully you watch this video and you trust me afterwards. There's other forms of value too. There's like entertainment value. Creating content that's relatable is often very valuable. Creating content that's inspiring is often valuable. Figure out what your value point is and ensure that in majority of your content, you are consistently sharing something of value to your audience. That is how your audience will trust you as a notable and valuable creator. The second thing you could do is to share content consistently. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of, oh, you should post every day, because like, you know, we've all had this conversation before and you just don't need to hear it again. But what I will say is that having a consistent posting schedule really installs a lot of trust with your audience. They feel like they can rely on you to share content on a regular basis. And yeah, that helps them trust you. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to start posting 8 times a day. It just means that you should come up with a posting schedule that works for you and stick to it, because then your audience can learn to expect content from you on a regular basis. I also want to take a second to say that it's totally okay for you to take a break from these schedules. Just give your audience a heads up. Like, people love that. When I took 2 weeks off my social channels over Christmas, I told everyone multiple times, I was like, look, I'm not going to be on social media. I'm not even going to be checking my messages. People appreciated the heads up. And then it meant that when I came back, I saw no drop in the performance of my content. And I hopefully still had the trust of you guys, my audience. Third thing you can do to install trust is to listen to your audience. It sounds so simple, but so many of us forget to do it. I remember I went through a phase a year or so ago when I felt like I had stopped listening to my audience as well as I should have, and my content just wasn't performing as well, and I realized that was why. I wasn't listening to my audience, the content that they wanted from me, their pain points, their needs. We've got to remember that whilst you might be sharing content that your audience loves right now, if you carry on sharing that content for years and years to come, I can almost guarantee that your engagement engagement will drop and you'll start to lose a bit of trust with your audience. And you'll ask yourself, why? I'm doing the same thing I've always done. But that's the problem. Your audience are changing, they're evolving, their needs are changing, what they're interested in is changing, but you're not changing with them. So it's important that you listen to them and you let them guide your audience, because that is what's going to install some trust with them too. Right, step number 4, we're almost there because there's only 5 steps. Don't know if I mentioned that, but there's only 5 steps. So step number 4 is to test. Now that we've built know, like, and trust with our audience, I like to call it activating your audience. We've gotten to a stage where you've activated your audience now and they're just ready, they're good to go. So now we've got to figure out how we're gonna monetize and earn money, and we've got to test that strategy as well. So for example, a lot of you guys will be thinking, well, I wanna earn money through working with brands, brand partnerships or brand sponsorships, depending on what you wanna call them. That's all well and good. I'm about to tell you something that some of you aren't gonna wanna hear, but I'm just gonna say it anyway because I'm speaking to a camera, so you can't yell at me. So what I'm about to say is, in order for you to do this step properly, you're probably gonna have to do some kind of work for free. I know, all the labor laws and all that, I know, just hear me out. When it comes to partnerships, what I'm referring to here is if you've never worked with a brand before, I would honestly recommend doing a gifted partnership before you start charging brands. And please keep in mind that this piece of advice is exclusive to channels that are on the smaller side. If you have this huge audience, then you could probably just start charging people straight away because you're probably a seasoned creator. But if you're new to this, which I'm willing to bet that you are, the whole monetization element, then I actually think you should work with a brand for free once. I think you should get a gifted collab from a brand that you love, from a product that you would buy anyway, and then I think you should create content for that brand and test it out. The reason why I think you should do this is because, first of all, it allows you to get used to the process of pitching, responding to a brief, all of that good stuff. It also allows you to build a relationship with that brand, get their email address, and it allows you to actually have a bit of a portfolio. Like, now you've got an example of a partnership that you've done with a brand that you can use when you try to get paid partnerships in the future. Now, if you're looking to do something else, like for example, a video membership site using Uscreen, right? Then you still have to do step 4, the testing phase. Now, if I group together video memberships, ebooks, courses, all of that good stuff, right? A lot of the digital income stuff that you might be looking into. If I group all of that together, you will still need to test whatever it is that you're choosing to launch. And how I've done this in the past is one of 2 ways. One way is I've created the thing. For example, I used to have an ebook. I created the whole ebook and then I sent it out to a bunch of people free of charge, and I asked them for feedback and for a testimonial. So that allowed me to tweak my whole ebook, make it better, and get some testimonials before I actually went ahead and sold it to people. Another way that I did it, and this was more with the coaching element, is I coached people for free. So I said, hey, I'm gonna coach some people, do they really need any help? And people were obviously like, yeah, sure, it's free. Of course I do. And I coached a few people, and that allowed me to gain experience with coaching and also allowed me to get some testimonials. The point I'm trying to make here is for us to successfully monetize and to create an income that is sustainable for the long term. It's not just this get rich quick scheme. We're actually gonna earn money from this for a long time. We need to make sure that whatever we're doing is good. So if we're working with a brand, great. We need to make sure that the content we're creating is good. We need to make sure that our coaching skills are good, that our ebook is good. We've got to test this stuff. We've just spent all this time building know, like, and trust with your audience. If you go ahead and release something that's shoddy after doing all that, you're gonna erase all of that amazing work that you've just done. Step 5 is to monetize. So now you have your new income stream, you've tested it, amazing. So now you can go ahead and really ramp it up. If you're selling something like a video membership with Uscreen, an online course, an ebook, now's the time for you to start promoting those offers to your audience. Now, the good news is that you've built up know, like, and trust. So this whole process will be a lot more effective if you hadn't done steps 1 to 3. Also, if you've done step 4, which is all around testing, and hopefully you got a few testimonials whilst you were testing your offer, now you also have another thing to talk about when you're selling. You can actually share the testimonials, the real life experiences that your audience had when they were going through your course, looking for your ebook, or whatever that might be. On the flip side, if you've gone down the UGC or the brand partnerships route, then this is also going to be easier for you because hopefully you've got a couple of examples of content that you'll create for a brand partner because you would have done some gifted collabs, and you can use that as an example when you're pitching to brands for a fee. But not only that, you again built up your know, like, and trust of your audience. So now when you promote these brands who you love and who you're working with, your audience will trust your recommendations because you spent the time to build up that trust with them. Okay, if you are someone who's like, that all sounds great, but I need more help, I need assistance, I need coaching to get me through that process, I have programs which can help you. Just drop me a DM on Instagram with the word ready and we can talk about the different ways that we can work together. I really hope you found this video useful. Do not forget to head to my link in bio or to uscreen.tv if you are interested in creating and launching your own video membership site. If you feel like hanging around, I recommend watching this video. It is all about creator income myths, and I'm basically just spilling the tea and telling you the actual truth behind earning money as a content creator, because some of the things that I share in that video might surprise you. Thank you so much for listening as always. Can't wait to see you in my next video.